For everybody out there in podcast land, this is Hustle Beach. We got Ralph Lauren towels in here, very exotic. They're made in China. Yeah. Very exotic. Ralph Lauren towels, you beezy.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, so let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
And maybe let me do a little...
Kosher Deals, Jersey's finest in this thing.
Yeah. We're no longer Los Angeles' finest. Huh?
Jersey. I mean, LA finest too, because you live there. You know, Jersey's finest, LA's finest, New York's finest, Israel's finest. Any motherfucking stage that you touch, you the finest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm saying
you the finest, you the finalist. Jersey.
Yes. Yo, man, you're like... Man, you should just be me. I was like, man, this is great. I could just sit back, relax. I showed up, the song was done. Tony's on the song. I'm like, yeah, that's a hit. I didn't even have to do nothing. You know what I mean? I just set it up.
Ain't it tight when people are prepared? You know what I mean? Like,
the last time...
Cause I came in with the verse ready, we got to play around more and like try different mics. We did different takes, different mics.
Yeah.
We like did it all, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can only do that with some preparation.
You learned about microphones with we got just to give you guys a setting. We are in Brooklyn. This is Hustle Beach. Mm-hmm. It is your boy Kosher Dills and Kid Shreddy. Mike Machinist is doing the recording. Fat Tony's in the building. We are in the Edificio, in Spanish it's a building. And we are in Williamsburg, Brooklyn with no cheese. You know what I'm saying? Strictly kosher slabs of meat here. And I'm here with Fat Tony all the way from H-Town to H32, to Hate No Jews, to H832.
That's right.
The Bun B, Bun home of the UGK, the Oive UGK movement. You know what I'm saying? There is a large Jewish community. There's a large Jewish community in Houston. I played a Purim show in Houston. Let me just give you the precedent here. We played at some hotel. We went to a party, and I met Jay Prince at like an Israeli party, and I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, what's good? He's like, man, I'm always looking for new financial opportunities. I was like, yo, I'm in Houston, Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And I know a guy. Shout out to my boy Greg. He owns the Sober Recovery. He started a boxing promotion business with Jay Prince. And
so that's why Jay Prince was there.
No, it was totally rando. Totally rando, but I just know. I was like, man, I know somebody that like you have business with. But I don't know if I met Jay Prince or his son Jay Prince. There's a Jay Prince Jr.
Jay Prince. There's Jay Prince Jr. There's Jazz Prince.
Yeah, so I think I met Jay Prince Jr.
Okay, cool.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sending something. Can't wait to chat. I'm hustling.
This is Hustle Beats.
I'm sending.
Kosher Deals is literally doing business on his phone while he has a guest present.
Oh man. So let's just get into it. So guys, this is Hustle Beach. This is the podcast that is just can't wait to be launched. I did South by Southwest in 2008, which I would say is like a precedent for my entire career. If you like don't see any Kosher Dills, you'll at least see him once a year at South by Southwest. And the only other person I can say that about is Fat Tony.
Guaranteed.
Am I right?
I met Kosher Dills.
Anthony Obi.
At South by Southwest 2008. And I have seen you at every South by Southwest since then, without fail.
Yep, and this is just exciting because I feel like we know each other through real life, but we've like grown up through the internet of knowing each other. Like, so I'm like, yeah, that's Tony on the internet, and that's Tony in real life, which is basically the same thing. But it is cool to see you like because you interact in like multiple worlds that I essentially like want to interact in, and like I don't essentially, and you've sort of conquered some of those worlds, and then I interact in completely different worlds where I think that you like still get, I think you have like a good grasp on what's happening, because I'm like looking at all these other acts, and the other day I was on Twitter and I somehow ended up in a conversation. I follow like a lot of the writers, and this one dude's like, how do I get my music, how do we submit our music to you without like sounding super sus and thirsty, you know? And the guy was like, don't tag me in a post with like 50 other writers, and you know what I'm saying? Like, don't.
That is lame.
And I'm like, yeah, that is lame. And then I'm thinking like, yeah, wait 2 to 5 years, and I'm like, damn, like some of these writers haven't written about me, and I've known who they are for 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, yeah, you wrote about me in 2010. You gave me a slight mention in that, you know, in whatever website you're writing. You wrote about me in 2013, but you've definitely sort of maneuvered your way through like the hip hop blogosphere of like Hip Hop DX. Shout out to Hip Hop DX, was like hip hop core, and then that'd be like for fans of like Royce da 5'9" and like Rappity Rap dudes, and Crooked I host some stuff there. No offense to Rappity Rap, I love Rappity Rap, but we're just gonna call it Rappity Rap for the sake of what it is.
Underground rappers.
Yeah. So we have the Rappity Rap movement, and then we have like the culturally approved movement, and you were like the super rare like all the weird indie white dudes will really love you. You're like, oh, Fat Tony is like, yeah, he's, socially conscious, aware, politically observant, and whatever they want to use.
Absolutely
like Vice
socially conscious. I've always
socially?
made a point to try to reach as many people as possible. And I think that means even stepping outside of your, not only genre, but stepping outside of your medium. So I want to be a performer that can play a show and everybody else is a comedian, or everybody else is like doing a fucking poem, or like people doing a one-act play or whatever. Like I feel that my work can fit in so many different rooms. And I've always felt that way from like day one, especially in like music. I like try to play shows with artists and bands of different genres. But recently, in the last couple years, I've been trying to step out of music period and try to collaborate with as many interesting creative people as possible in whatever way that makes sense, and I think that it is not easy to do, because sometimes I get in rooms like that, like say I'm playing a comedy show and the venue for that comedy show isn't really suited for music. My performance isn't going to translate the way I really needed to win over people, right? But there are those other times where I'm playing, say, a comedy show, and it's at a venue that traditionally has music, so it's perfect for what I do. Right. I go in and I kill it.
Like the Echo or something.
Sure, the Echo or the Satellite, or Union Hall here in Brooklyn. Places like that are great because they're able to fit so many different types of performers.
So what's your where were we? I'm like, what year is it? 2019. So we met in 2008. So what do you think? You've been full-time music for how many years?
2011.
2000. That's amazing. Me too, kid. Yeah, bro. We are like
that was the year.
Yeah, that was the year. 2011 was the time. So, what made you make the jump? Like, did you have like a big hit? Like mine was that Super Bowl commercial in 2012. I was like, all right, paid. Let's do it.
I had a bunch of circumstances. For one, I was born and raised in Houston. The summer of 2011, I moved to Brooklyn to make an album, and the plans for that fell
Smart
through.
Black Man, right?
Smart Ass Black Boy. Well, actually, it was even before Smart Ass Black Boy came as like a concept, but that was going to be the album. At the time, we were making this Double Dragon album, which was a collaboration with me and my producer Shaka. And this album was different than our other work because he was rapping on it too. So it was like us as like a duo. So I basically came out here to make a record, and the person that was going to finance it, he didn't pay me, which was really fucked up. So I was asked out. I didn't have a place to live because I was going to pay my friend to stay in her extra room. I didn't have the money. I couldn't stay there. At the same time, Shaka had problems with his roommate. He got kicked out of his apartment. We both ended up staying with our friend in Jersey City. And
shout out to Jersey City. Jersey.
Yeah. And, we just didn't have any money. Then my grandmother died, which is really fucked up. She pretty much raised me with my parents. And my mom paid for me to go back to Houston. I stayed in Houston a little bit, but before I left New York, I made a few songs with Shaka, and I made a collaboration with A$AP Rocky through Yams. Yams reached out to me via Twitter, asked me to come to the studio. We made a song, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, a couple months later, the Rocky album comes out. It's really big. I'm on it. That gets some good traction. Folks
Free
search my
A$AP
name.
Rocky. Right now.
Spin Magazine puts out this issue with Odd Future on the cover, and it's about the new generation of rap, and they list all these artists in it. And I remember they listed me, And then after that, I met these guys who offered me my first record deal. And from that deal, I moved to LA for the first time, January 1st of 2012. And that's really when I was like, all right, I have a record deal. I have some kind of situation. Let me try to make this my full-time career, you know?
I didn't even know that. Because it's so crazy because just the A$AP Rocky thing, because I knew you from before. So so I was like pre on the Tony movement.
Yeah,
but,
and like even before that happened, I put out an album, Rab Dog Gab, on Bandcamp, and I think that gave me some love. Like I met people like Catch Doves from Fool's Gold, and other writers and like artists started reaching out to me. So it was just like a lot of slow growth, and then at the end of 11, I think getting some extra press and some extra like extra
recognition.
Yeah, recognition. Like I don't want to say
that was when Spin
like
had magazine.
Just like the attention part of it, but it was like props. It was like people coming like, "Yo, you are dope. This is interesting. We are excited to see what you do next."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Wow. So you're at 2012.
And also, I got fired from my job around that time. Like me, it felt really fucked up because my grandma died, and I loved the shit out of her, and I lost my job, and I was in college, but my parents couldn't pay it anymore, and I tried to pay it, but I didn't have enough, so I got dropped from all my classes. So I'm like out of school, I'm out of a part-time job, I'm like 22. I just had like the first like crazy death in my life. I'm like, damn, what the fuck am I gonna do next? And then some opportunities came.
So did you ever finish college?
No, I didn't. Never went back after that. You know, I always wanted to, but I just never had an opportunity to. I never had the money to do it again, you know.
What were you studying?
I was a psychology student, and then I became a communications media studies student.
Yeah, you're a media hustler.
Yeah.
He is the hustler of media. He gets it. I was so crazy. So you were 2012, and then 2013. So when did you get your first agent? Like, cause
I got my first agent in 2012 when I worked with this label called Young One Records, which was under Partisan, and through that situation, I got my first agent, my first PR, you know, and then once I kind of got in the system, I just worked hard and made connections and found a way to stay present through playing shows, putting out records. You know, when one agent wasn't doing the job, I got another agent, you know, shit like that. Just, you know, hustling.
Hustling, bro. You're a hustler. Damn, dude. I think it's interesting just for anyone listening. It's like that you've kind of like stood the test of time of like, I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever like made it or something like that, but I had a couple like good moments, you know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to the next good moments. I think the record that we have is going to be tight.
Fuck yeah.
And I think now, like, the good moments, like, because you're coming from the good moments of, like, MySpace era, and then you're like, whoa, Bandcamp was, like, for like, Bandcamp's hot now, but, like, there was definitely a moment where Bandcamp was, say, a little bit hotter. And then I think, like, man, you were, like, with Spin Magazine. Like, I remember the time that A$AP Rocky and that whole shit was happening in New York for, like, everyone's like, oh, like, everyone, there was a big discussion about like Atlanta being taken by New York because like the whole purple swag thing was happening, and then it's sort of New York. I feel like everyone migrated to LA, including us. And then now we're back in New York, and now you're like, it's happening again, bro. So that's why I'm like really curious because I know you know trends, and I'm like, Tony, like you're like, yo, bro, like, you know. And it's interesting now because I'm like, yo, there is no more Spin Magazine. It's just it's just a website. It was still a flex. Like, it's like, get the picture and post it on Instagram, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's about to pop, you know?
Yeah. Man, I also got to shout out, you know, that was just a time where I happened to meet and to collaborate with a lot of artists who were on the come up and doing kind of a new thing, from Danny Brown to That's Racist to Murs, who like isn't new but was kind of in a different phase of his life at that time.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know, like Murs is one of my favorite artists of all time. He worked with me on my first album, and I feel like that was a milestone moment too for like me, feeling like, wow, I get to work with one of my favorite rappers ever I can do this too. Then the Double Dragon record, I work with Bun B. I'm like, damn, I admire this guy.
That's crazy.
This guy's coming to my studio. And then, just like getting to be friends with those guys too over the years, just like, soaking up game. I think I've always been really good at trying to pay attention to what everybody else is doing around me, for the people that I look up to, and also checking out the people that I think are whack, because I think there's something to learn from them too. I think you should not only know who you want to be, but I think it's good to know
when
who
you mean
you
whack,
don't wanna
is it
be.
like people like you're like, yo, this dude's on and he's not as dope as me, and like, or he's like not good and he's popping, or like sort of like, is there like jealousy involved?
I mean, whack far as like personal taste, like whack to me, like an artist can be
your shit is whack, son.
super successful or not successful at all, and I might still view their work as not my cup of tea, right? And growing up, well, not just growing up, but just living, as I encounter shit like that, I'm like, that's not for me. The kind of moves that artist makes isn't for me, but the kind of moves this artist makes, that is for me. How can I represent more of that in my work, and how can I make sure I don't slip up and represent this other side that isn't really me?
I think it's cool because when I look at your work and I look at mine, like I would say that I don't want to talk to any other one else, like I've known you for so long, but I feel like for me, I've noticed this recently because you had the thing with Diplo and he used your mix for Stagecoach, right?
Yeah.
And what was so you had that was sort of like a Instagram moment, meaning like me, I just like did a rap with the kid from Stranger Things, like
Yes.
Peyton. He's like the home, you know what I mean? And I would like go and I'm like, I feel like I'm really good in those moments, and I feel like you've definitely been good on like the slower long game, which is like getting people to actually listen to the music. Well, as me, I'm like, man, I make the same music. My music's type. Why don't you listen to my music? And they look at me as like this ultimate hustler that's like the pop-up. I'm like one of the pop-up like guys, and like I did something with A$AP Rocky too. I like rapped with him backstage in like France, and I'm like trying to capitalize. And I think it's really cool that you've learned how to, the way you did it's like almost opposite, but it's kind of the same effect. So it's like I really like to learn from you as far as like your long plan game of like when you're recording and you're like with people listening to it, because I feel like you've been doing it so long, and people think like, I'm sure people take a picture with you like you're famous, but then also like you're like, yo, why haven't I popped yet? And you're like, or like, what the fuck do I have to do moments where like my mental health comes crashing down and I'm like, I'm a fucking failure. And then other times where it's like, man, everyone's listening to the record and they're digesting it. Don't you feel like you deserve some, I don't know, massive check? Have you gotten that moment yet? Or is
I definitely feel like I deserve all the success in the world. I fucking work very hard. I care about what I do. But I don't think that there is always going. I don't think it's all about that one moment. You know what I mean? I don't think it's about that one song or that one moment that makes you set for life. I think it's about making stuff constantly and having many moments that end up being your full career, your full life.
Many moments. Do you
I
feel
want to do this for as long as possible. Like, and by this I mean making music, acting, writing, being a DJ, anything that's a form of expression for me that is true to who I am. I want to do that and make a good living from it for as long as I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best way to do it is to be open-minded and to work hard and have a consistency that your audience can count on and that people in the business can count on.
Do you like, so this is, I hope I phrased that right, because I feel like
you phrase it the way that it's meant to be phrased, because we just flowing.
Yeah, we just doing it. Jersey. No, but because when I think of Tony, I remember, I'm like also Mike's here, so I'm just including Mike in like as a listener to the conversation.
So
you had this moment where Tony's like if you're living in LA, there's this place called the Cha Cha Lounge, and like Tony would like DJ on a table, And I'm like, man, Tony plays these big festivals in like France with like fucking Virgil Abloh, who like, who, like, you know what I'm saying? And then here he is at the Cha Cha Lounge DJing some dirty ass, you know, bar, which is really great energy.
Shout out to Cha Cha Lounge. They my motherfucking people.
And I'm there, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. And everyone here is like ultra cool LA things, and I'm like, I'm just going because I know Tony, so I'm in there because I know the OG double G, the whole party. Without Tony, ain't even popping. Okay, so I'm there, you know, because I know Tony, and I'm just thinking, wow, I feel like I do the same thing, and it's like this circle of like people who are like almost made it. It's like, why didn't we get a deal? Or also, you know, how do we multiply? Because I also have you have the thing with A$AP Rocky, and then you have the thing with Virgil. And I was like, do you ever go back and you're like, you know what? Fuck this. Let me do some targeted ads. You know what I'm saying? Like on Facebook, and be like, how do I? Because I feel like people. You like when you do work for so long and you have those moments, I'm like, man, I just did this thing with Stranger Things. Stranger Things is the biggest thing on TV. Why doesn't this video have 800 million views? You know what I mean? Or how come when A$AP Rocky came out with the most classic, what has basically shifted all of New York rap because of A$AP Rocky. Before that was the Cool Kids. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Absolutely.
But I was like, why didn't you unearth out of that, or that was just like that's just part of the grind? It's like, yeah, that was a great look. That was good.
I think it's a lot of factors.
Do you need the team? Is it like the team that's in place too?
I think it's a lot of factors. I think team definitely matters. I think your output and the time it comes out and how it connects with people has a lot to do with it. Like I think about that like mix of mine that Diplo played. That is something that I've been doing in all my live sets for about a year now, maybe a year and a half, which is me mixing Brooks and Dunn, Neon Moon with Too Short, Blow the Whistle, and I mixed that into my song, The Hood Party.
So that speaks so good to you as of like where you're from, as like H-Town rapper.
Totally.
In Brooklyn,
and I love
LA.
Bay rap shit, and then it goes into my own music, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I think that connected with people, that like clip really resonated with people because you have this like cowboy hat rap trend going on. The Old Town Road song comes out around the same time. So when people hear me doing that, they have all these other things going on that help them put it in the right context to see why it's dope. Mm-hmm. And that happening at that moment is, I think, what like propel that as like a viral moment. And I just think, you know,
how did it make you feel
throughout
when you
your
went
life
viral?
as an artist, I think it's about connecting with people and being able to like express something that a lot of people are feeling, and it's all about the timing of it.
How did it make you feel though when you went viral? You're like, yo, this is viral. Did you call your mom?
It felt great because it's good for business, you know? It's like great for business. Right. I feel like that's the main purpose of going viral. Like, well, I will say this. I liked my most recent viral moment because it was musical. And it was about my talent and about my taste and about my look and the vibe that I emit. That's why people liked it.
It was authentic.
So it's great that went viral rather than some like goofy shit of like somebody trying too hard to go viral, right?
Right.
And it's great for business because your social numbers go up, you know. You're like able to like negotiate with brands differently. You're able to be seen differently by people that are booking you for things. You know, it's all positive.
Yeah, it's like your agent's like, yo, man, Diplo fucks with Tony. He like, it's a rap, came over, we're about to pop. For real. Because if that was happening to me, I would be like, bro, Diplo's about to make me a motherfucking beat.
Yeah.
That's what were you thinking that? Because I
was thinking I'm about to get hella booked.
Yeah, hella
and
booked.
I'm about to get more brands that want to partner with me to post shit on my social and get more money. You know what I mean?
But because I think like, yeah, because you get, let's say, Diplo, like a dude like at that level, that's like where we're at. It's like if one dude, and that's why I guess my scheme, like my grand scheme is like, let me rap for all the people that don't even really do the rap thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, Stranger Things, or like I rapped for Designer on Hanukkah and told them about Hanukkah. And like BET put it up. It's like, you know, it's funny. And I like being funny. I also want to be taken serious. And anyways, when I look at your music, I feel like it's serious and yet it's still comical. And that's why we like balance and just like,
fun, man. I'm a fucking silly ass guy. Shit.
Yeah. Fat Tony, who's not even fat, but you were originally sort of chubbier. I feel like
Totally.
we were all chubbier because that was the wave in 08, 09. Like we were
Lot of
all like
baggy
underground
clothes
rap.
and shit.
Yeah, we were like, baggy
2X
jeans.
size shirt with some skinny jeans.
Yeah. So like now that you're independent, you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying like, okay, are you structuring a business where you're like, listen, I've been grinding a long time. Just because people are listening, they're like, what do I do? Like, oh, you get all these ads, like Spotify lists and Facebook promotions and this. I'm like, are you like, you know what? I'm gonna take $100 on everything and I put ads, or are you just straight raw? You're like, I'm Fat Tony. I ain't spending no money on the promo. You know what I mean? I'm just interested if
I
you
have
go about
done ads before. Yeah, I would do ads.
I'd be like doing
I
ads
like doing ads
Blackjack. I'm
when
like,
it's a campaign. Like I like doing ads when I have like an album coming out or like something that really needs to get into tons of eyes. But I don't like just putting ads on just regular posts that aren't going to lead people to something else. You know, like if I have an
what
album.
was the last
out,
ad that you did that you were like, yo?
for my last album? You know,
Okay.
my last album came out. You know, me and my team set aside money to boost on Facebook. You know, I like got a guy to help me target my ads properly. You know, we like looked into setting up a billboard around LA. You know, that's the time when I think it's like, yo, we want to mash the gas on all the promo and for my tour for it too. You know, I
Yeah.
like put ads behind all my tour dates, you know?
Yes.
Get in touch with all the venues and be like, hey, do y'all have an ad budget to match with what we're doing to signal boost this so we can sell some more tickets?
Right, exactly. I just want them to put ads on my tickets.
Yeah.
You feel me? We don't want you selling more Wolf tickets than real tickets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something
New
that,
Fat Tony lyrics in my song, guys.
that is a goal of mine, definitely moving forward. You know, I want to really rev up ticket sales in the markets that is working, and I want to focus on those markets, and I want to conquer them.
So you're like, it's so for anyone listening, it's like everyone's like people will tell me I have an Asian friend. He's like, just focus on rapping at synagogues and like, cause I rap at synagogues. We call them synagigs. You know what I mean? Used to be like, hit him up. Hey, Rabbi Susan. Hey, Rabbi David. Hey, yo, what's up? I'm Kosher Dills. I rap. I do the rap class. I do, I speak on addiction and sobriety. I'm
Dope.
sober almost 15 years. Yada, yada, yada. You got Jewish kids overdosing. You got, kids that everyone wants to rap. That's my thing. Everyone wants to rap. And then, you have that makes the, $1,000, $2,000, for an engagement. But like my dream, and I really I feel that our hearts speak to each other on it. Like I just want to sell out, the Hideout in Chicago. I just want to
totally.
sell out whatever theater in Indianapolis. I just want to I would love to be like, oh, I sold out the Barry Ballroom in New York by myself. And like
That'd be
Kosher Dill
crazy.
selling out the Barry Ballroom, 400 tickets. And we were all rapping at the same time Macklemore was, and who else is massive? G-Eazy, I have friends, and we're like, what propelled them to superstardom? And then here we are, we just like, yeah, everyone knows us, and, to stay humble through that process and like, just, still chip at it, it amazes me, because we're like, it's like my love. I'll spend all day figuring out how to sell 7 more tickets in Indianapolis.
I feel like you bring up a great point, doing those gigs where you're playing with a purpose of putting out a positive message, of helping people, playing in spaces where rappers normally don't go.
Yeah.
I think
Because you're
that
number
is
one there,
dope.
Yeah.
And I think that adds value to your whole thing. I am certain that you convert fans from doing those type of gigs, I don't know. I'm just really into thinking outside the box. You know what I mean? Going out and trying to reach people in ways that the average indie rapper isn't thinking about.
Who's the favorite guys that you're following?
It just makes it fun.
It does.
Like I love going to play a gig somewhere where I feel like I'm standing out and some friends of mine might not be down to come play here. I love playing a comedy show that's like a packed out room. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's fun. And playing to an audience that is kind of surprised that they're getting a dope rapper in their event. They might not be expecting that at all.
Who's like your favorite people right now that you're following that like on their business shit? Like,
Man, I love Rory, formerly known as Milo, Scallops Hotel. He is dope. I love...
Is he Scallops Hotel? Is that his
Yeah,
name?
man, I love the way that he operates as a musician and as a businessman. I love that he lives in Maine. I love that he built his own record store. You know, my like dream...
He has his own record store.
My like dream one day is to be able to do what I do and live in a place that's not here in New York or in LA, and I can maintain myself as a working artist and an entertainer and get a crib somewhere for a good value and raise a family somewhere.
Detroit.
else.
Detroit, dog.
know.
Detroit. I mean, that's the ultimate. That's all. It's amazing that you say that. Just want to add into that. I love following Modson. He's like my favorite
he's
business.
cool.
His business savvy is just like next level. He's like, I'm cleaning out my closet and selling all my clothes for like, and he like wrote on them and he's made like $5,000. Like I was just like, you sold 100 shirts at like $50 and you did all your own things on it. And I'm like, that is amazing.
He's a crazy guy, yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, man, I'm interested in like how to. In how to do it, you know? I'm interested in how to do it. And so are you. You're interested in how to do it, and that's why
Yeah.
we're here. You know why? Because we're here and we're doing it.
Yeah, man, and I'm always open. You know, man, I learned so much from being open-minded and getting my ass out there and like traveling. You know, I grew up in Houston. I've lived in New York. I've lived in LA. I've lived in Mexico City. I always
You
make
did
a
live in
point
Mexico City.
to go back to all of my homes and keep in touch with all my people there and to work with them and just build with them and have fellowship and just chop it up and just have meals with them and just live life and just, you know, be in touch with people. And I think if you live like that, there's always something new for you to learn. Whether it's something for you to enjoy or to apply to your work, that is up to you. But there's always more out there for us.
What's your like goals? Like where do you want to go this year?
Great question. This year, I want to tour Europe. I've only played in Paris and in Berlin, but I'd like to play more in Europe. I would love to go out
Tell
there
me about
for
that
like a
Paris. You
week
did
or
the thing
two.
with Virgil, right? It was like some conference.
Yeah, I played a Fashion Week party with Virgil Abloh for this brand Chrome Hearts. It was dope. And I did a program called the Gonservatory with Chili Gonzalez.
Yes.
Which was like a week or two of me and some musicians from all over the world, from all different countries, getting together, making brand new music, and playing a sold-out concert to 1,500 people at this dope theater that was live streamed by like a Canadian television network. It was fucking incredible.
That's amazing.
And like really hard and like a lot to learn from. You know, I just love putting myself in like spaces like that where I can go be like a student in like a music workshop and go play a Fashion Week party with Virgil and go put out my own album and do all this different type of shit and, you know, create like host a fucking show like Thrift Hall.
Yeah, you had Thrift
with,
Hall.
my friend Stephanie Ward. You know, we like made this show for Super
You made
Deluxe.
it. That was your shit.
That was Stephanie and I's shit.
Thrift
You know,
Hall. I feel like
hosting the Viceland show. You know, I'm always trying to do some other shit. Making my fucking zine, Found Me.
Oh yeah, what's up with that, man? Yeah.
Well, we're
I
like
just
making
think that's
a
why-
second issue now. The first one's out, and it's great if you got it. It's you know physical. It's like not online. I have a PDF of it if you want to check out the first issue of Found Me. Just holler at me. But we mainly make it for like print. The second issue is coming out now, and I'm working on a documentary film of the same name with some friends of mine, and you'll hear about that when you need to.
So you're doing so much. You've done so much. And now I got you on my album, which I'm really excited because I think
Thank you for having
it's
me.
like 10 years, and you're like, we have no track record of like that we interacted in public, you know. So we have this podcast.
And you know what?
Yeah. So
That is another thing that I've been thinking about. I want to collaborate with more of my friends because I have so many friends that I've been cool with for like so long, and we don't have records together. I think
Music
that's what's
sounds
going
better.
to last.
That music sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what people like. it's like one thing to say that you hung out with him, but to have it on like record,
Yeah.
that's what the fans are gonna pick up.
So I'd be messing with
That's what the world is gonna
Gary
pick up.
Vaynerchuk. You know what I mean? I used to show up to his things and rap like, and now he's like, and he's just like document everything, and I'm like, yeah, I'll hang out with Tony, but like at least we'll have this podcast, and you know what I'm saying? And then if people, I feel like my world should know about you, and all world should know about you, and I think people just like listening to audio, like, you know, playing us driving to wherever, and I'm like, the only people I have on this album are Modest Yahoo and Tony, and then I figure, I'm like, I just want to get more. I'm like, why don't I want to get? There was a time where I didn't want anyone on anything, and I think it's just so stupid. Like,
Why'd you not want anybody on it?
Funny thing, I got C-Rays on my first album, and that was it. I have a big trouble completing things. I deal with a lot of mental health, you know, barriers and walls, and like being successful by myself. But I'm very good at putting things together, like just in South by, you know, putting shows together and making everyone. So I'm just like, why don't I use that more? So I'm like, yeah, I could do a podcast talking by myself, but like, why don't you just bring people on that everyone gets excited? Because you came in here like a bat out of hell. You're like boom, 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 and people are gonna be like, whoa, I love that. And then I can't believe people will say, hey, I love that shit you did with Kosha Dill's A Humble Man, and that's just a great concept, and you got the video, and you know, you got the podcast, and I don't know. But when I die, man, I want people to, you know, I don't think I convey a proper representation of who I am, that you know me through the internet. And I think we've had discussions about this, just the Jewish thing, the Israel thing, and people don't know about me being sober and being ex-convict, parole. No, people don't know all that. So I was like, oh, the podcast audio, now I can get it out, and then I can just hang out with my friends and like find out what you're doing. And to me, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I remember just the whole Diplo Complex thing, and posting, you know, there's millions of views, and you're getting the Vice and me commenting on it, and I'm like, hey, I genuinely feel this about someone. I'm not sitting there like, fuck Tony, he's on TV, and I'm not. And I still feel that way about some things, but I never want to show publicly, 'cause, you know, all of my jealous shit is my own stuff. You know, no, that's not. But when I was like, yes, Tony is winning. He is destroying the competition, and all their haters are dying inside. Not that there are, but I was like, they're all dying, and Tony's destroying everyone. Tony, kill him.
Yo, man, we are some lucky guys. It is great that we get to do this with our livelihood, and we've met so many beautiful people to it. And
so
we
easy.
Still do.
What a joy to come into a studio that you've been in for so long, and then that song that you couldn't get done is done because Tony did it. I was like,
craziest shit. Kosha said that before I did my verse, when he would perform this a while ago, he would do a freestyle during the second verse part, and he would rap in double time, which is what I did on my verse without even knowing that. So I feel like you kind of had a vision for this song that you didn't even have to communicate to me, that just happened on its own. Like, this is meant to fucking be.
It's called the universe, fellas.
yeah.
And sometimes the energy is shared through that plane.
Straight up.
We're going to do a lot more together. I think, how long is this? This is a long time. What time is it?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute.
Okay. So anyways, we're going to end this here because we're just talking forever. Nothing wrong with talking forever, but we both got things to see and people to do. So this is Hustle Beach. Hustle Beach! And this is Fat Tony. Fat Tony, could you please give us all like the socials and internet stuff for people to find you?
Please, run after me. At Fat Tony Rap on everything. Instagram, Twitter, all that shit. FatTonyRap.co. AnthonyObi.com.
Oh, you got the .co? That's that UK style.
Hit me. Fucking hit me, you know. I'm an open book. If you want to talk about music that you love or talk about my shit, then let's fucking do it, man. And I want to say one more thing because I know I'm talking a lot. But you asked me about my goals. One goal I've had recently is I want to leave a shit ton of music out there. Two of my favorite artists of all time, Prince and DJ Screw. What I love about them is to this very day, I'm still finding songs by them and mixes by them that I've never heard that I love. And it's just crazy, like, damn, these fools are dead and gone, but there's still a plethora of shit out there for me to discover and fall in love with. if I'm anybody's favorite artist, I want to give them that gift too, that they can get on YouTube and like find shit they had no idea I even did.
Fat Tony, ladies and gentlemen, aka Young Plethora, aka Young Houston, aka Oi Veda 832, Crazy Jews, and he's not Jewish, but he's a black guy that has lots of Jewish friends. My name is Coach Shadils, aka Rami Matan Evanesh. I recently immigrated out of Koreatown, Los Angeles, to another dimension. A little bit in Israel, a little bit in Brooklyn with Mike and his Williamsburg apartment. And Tony's here in Brooklyn. If you see him on the street, say what up. Follow this Hustle Beach podcast on Spotify, wherever it is. It's going to be on the internet. We love you. Tony, thanks so much for just sharing your wisdom, a little bit of your story. It's just crazy. A$AP Rocky, Diplo, Spin Magazine, South by Southwest, taking your music video, you going with Virgil Abloh, who's like Kanye West's spiritual advisor, fashion advisor. Just doing so many cool things, and encouraging all of us to live our inner cha-cha lounge out. You're the man. I love you, brother.
Man. Love you too.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Hell yeah. Peace.